Now I would like to introduce our panel and welcome our panelists to the stage. Can I please have Dr. Sharif? Dr. Mahmoud Sharif, Head of Technology and IT Strategy at DO. Sibel Tombaz, Head of 5G RAN Business Area Networks at Ericsson. Sheldon Yao, Head of Wireless and Core Network Engineering at Hong Kong Telecom. And last but not least, Ronye Vashisha, SVP Telecom at NVIDIA. So welcome, day 3. I guess we've been all busy wondering the host. So we have 25 minutes to unwrap some of the challenges and some of the use cases of 5G Advanced. So we've heard from the speakers what the capabilities are, we've heard what's the vision. So maybe if I start with you, Dr. Sharif, what are the key use cases 5G and 5G Advanced will enable thanks to greater capacity and faster downlink and uplink speeds? And maybe can we run through some of the trials, proof of concepts, bring it to real life?
Sure, I'll be happy to do so. But let me recap and have some reality check on where we are, excuse me, and why we need to be actually all of us sort of looking forward for 5G Advanced. So I remember 5 years ago in this same forum in 2018, I think whoever was here, we were all saying almost the same thing, which is that triangle of 5G. You know, 3 things we were promising the industry as an industry: speed, ultra reliable low latency, and massive machine type communication. That triangle, almost everyone was using, and we kept using this for many, many years. So 5 years has passed, and let's have a reality check. And from that reality check, we can now understand why 5G Advanced is coming at the right time to cover certain pain points. So when it came to speed, today, we did deliver to a good extent on the downlink. So downlink is fair enough to say that we did, as an industry, deliver. Compared to 4G, definitely we are in a reasonable good shape. But look at the uplink. Actually, the uplink today is almost as good as the 4G. As a matter of fact, when you compare the C-band, which is basically the main spectrum used for 5G, compared to an experience in the same location for an LTE or 4G using a lower band, say 1800, actually many times the 4G is even beating the 5G. So first pain point, most important, that when we promised speed, we only delivered downlink, but uplink has an issue that I will come to explain how 5G Advanced, and I think you heard it. So number 2, ultra reliable low latency. As we've seen from the Qualcomm presentation, it's still coming. I mean, commercially, yeah, it's Release 17 is delivering some of these, but commercially today, we really don't have the full capability that we promised in 2018 yet. So, and the real question is, do we really need ultra low latency at this point of time? So we'll discuss this also, why 5G Advanced is coming with this brilliant idea about providing support for XR. Massive machine type communication, that was the overall. I think 5G Advanced is bringing a lot more capabilities that we all look forward. So what is 5G Advanced in a nutshell bringing? Enhancement to uplink, definitely needed. This is a must, really, really a must. Even in the situations where we tried a private network, sometimes the devices are overwhelming the current 5G network in the uplink. So first one, we definitely need it. We should be excited about this one. And today, there is a need definitely for extended reality type of applications. And this needs actually 3 things. Better spectral efficiency, the downlink, 5G Advanced bringing this. Better uplink, 5G Advanced is also bringing this. And most importantly, low latency, not ultra low latency, but just low latency, enough to actually maintain the experience of extended reality. So I'll stop here because I think if we achieve the uplink enhancements, better spectral efficiency in the downlink, and provide low latency, not ultra low, just low latency, I think commercially we will have a very good opportunity for more revenue for the industry.
Definitely. And Sibel, from your point of view, we mentioned networks.
Yes.
They're very, very important. What is your view on this? And maybe discuss some of the use cases that you're
Sure.
working on.
Yes, of course. No, I mean, that definitely is actually quite an exciting times. It's now the 4th year of 5G. We definitely created quite important platform, and I think it is now on, kind of live in more than 200 countries. And we are very proud as Ericsson that is 60% of these networks are powered by Ericsson. But what are we seeing definitely now is that time to harvest is coming. So we really see the use cases. Actually, this is the first question we get now in our booth. What is the next step? Yeah. And we have a lot of exciting actually demos and ideas. Maybe I can summarize some of them. We are first of all focusing on the fundamentals. And for me, the slicing is an extremely important, because at the end, when we have one network with limitless use cases, which is the vision, and all these different use cases and devices, they will be having different requirements on downlink and uplink and the speed and the latency. So we need to have the foundation of end-to-end latency. And I think we have a quite good platform, but what are we bringing right now is to having the end-to-end latency on the devices. So we have partnership with Intel, with Microsoft, with Google, to really kind of achieving that now we can have the full end-to-end slice, ensuring that you have different applications mapped to different slice. So if you are working at cloud gaming, you have a latency slice in your exactly same device. If you are having a team call to your work, have a different slice, and all of them can be managed by the network. And this is happening right now. Not 5G advanced, but that is a foundation. And we have a lot of exciting areas that we are focusing on. The next steps for the use cases, we are definitely seeing XR, and I think it has been reflected in all the speakers. We see that this is going to be an extremely important step, and we believe this will be a quite big paradigm shift in communication, both for consumers and as well as different applications in the industry. And here, we have also a lot of interesting demos and ideas we are looking into. First of all, we are kind of working with different partners on the air interface, because it's a completely different requirements on the network. Yes. Downlink, uplink, everyone talk about, but for me, most importantly, is it's different than the smartphone. Smartphone is about best effort, XR is about consistency. So yes. Network needs to have consistent latency.
Yes.
So in that case, we are working with Meta. Actually, we have a demo in our booth, working with Meta to actually test cloud gaming with some of the functions that we are bringing on low latency. Actually, not low latency, consistent latency. Actually, maybe we need to change in the industry, not talk about consistent latency, not low latency.
And latency matters very much.
Very much. And that's definitely one use case. And we are working on, again, for remote driving, another one with Deutsche Telekom and their partner Ray. So a lot of different, and one more is the positioning, because we believe it's very important when we go to enterprises for asset training and to really connect the things indoor. Yeah. So these are the few use cases we are working with our partners for the next step of 5G.
That's really interesting, and you really see a big difference when you go into 5G Advanced. The positioning goes into centimeters, so that's a massive improvement in there. Maybe Sheldon, if I move to you, we mentioned immersive reality. I think you're doing quite a bit of work on Metaverse already. Could you tell us a bit more?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. In fact, our companies start to investigate the feasibility to put the metaverse into the mobile world. Okay, at the very beginning, okay, all the metaverse or Web 3.0 applications are in the traditional fixed line applications. And when we move to the mobile, we find there's a lot of limitations in the existing infrastructure. Okay, no matter uplink, downlink, latency, all is not sufficient to support this service. So 5G Advanced is crucial in order to make this whole concept mobilize. We have done a lot of tests in this area, like okay, when in a Web 3.0 environment, the whole world is moving all together. And it's totally changed in our day-to-day communication standard. Nowadays, we are just communicate point to point, one to one. In the future, we are communicate one to many, and we need to know what's happening, and then making decision almost in real time. So how to also include the AI into all decision-making process that has a real demand in the uplink communications and also in low latency. And what I'm fully aware, the latency actually from 5G actually is not bad. In Hong Kong, the network actually is less than 10 milliseconds already. Okay, but that's not sufficient because it still cannot do we call it the ultra reliable low latency, because the reliability is still not guaranteed. Like you just mentioned, it's inconsistent. How to ensure, okay, we can always interact to the network and then can have an immediate feedback. That is something we need to achieve in the 5G advanced era.
Yeah, it's important. And Ronnie, turning to you're doing quite a bit of work and you have number of partnerships. Could you shed some light and share with the audience what is that you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So I think a lot has already been said about use cases, so stole my thunder a little bit already, all the presentations. But you know, AI is playing a very, very important role and going to play a more important role in terms of the consistency of being able to attain latency and experiences associated with latency. As we go through the journey of, you know, let's say the Metaverse and the experiences of Metaverse, today we really move in an industrial way, where you can have immersive experiences. And actually we're working with Ericsson and others and techniques like L4S to enable the more consistent latency. A lot of that relies upon AI frameworks, the reduction of bandwidth requirements that you can achieve by having AI optimizations, going forward AI optimizations of the environment, of the channel estimation and data collection of the environment that you're in, so that you can enable the channel to be, estimation to be accurate to what the environment required. This all requires compute and AI accelerated compute where you need it. Sometimes it may be in the headset, but more often than not, it's on an edge device. And NVIDIA's approach is we build platforms in which partners build things on top of our platforms. But the fundamental platform is accelerated compute or AI. And you need these applications to be resident on top of this accelerated compute AI to enable these types of experiences. Precision location, for instance. You're going to end up probably having an edge compute capability that enables that precision location to be accurate at the FR2 or whatever frequency range you're operating at. You can't deploy that potentially over a wide area network and still have the guarantees that you need. So that's where we're working with, is the partnerships that can build pre-trained libraries or use our pre-trained libraries to enable that consistency of experience.
That consistency, I keep on hearing consistency, it's really important. But we're talking about quite an interesting and brand new devices as well, right? Because when we're thinking about new capabilities, more AI, both on the networks and on device. So should we expect new devices to emerge because of 5G Advanced? And maybe again, I keep on starting with you.
Sure. So basically, I'm excited to say that. So basically, my company, the operator, is one of two operators in the United Arab Emirates. We're based in Dubai. So I don't know if you know this, but Dubai is probably like the retail capital of the region, or maybe even the world. So we're excited to actually have working on an extended reality retail experience. Looks very, looks fantastic, to be honest. It needs a 5G private network with edge compute right on-prem dedicated. So we're excited about this opportunity and this experience that we're actually dealing with. But one of the things we're excited about, because we started to experience that the uplink starts to choke once you have multiple high-definition 360 cameras in these retail areas. So again, we look forward to any enhancement in the uplink. We see that big opportunity for 5G Advanced to actually enhance the experience. So right now, what we're doing is making sure the quality of service is maintained by limiting the number of basically 360 high-definition cameras that are co-located or being served by the radios within the private network. So that's actually one of the use cases we are working on, and again, we look forward in the future to upgrade to the 5G Advanced, and hopefully we're going to even have much more advanced experience in this extended reality world.
Interesting. And Ronnie, probably you're also looking at what sort of potential new devices can emerge because of 5G Advanced. Do you do any work on the device side as well?
We're not really on the device side as much. Outside of potentially the AI that resides on maybe the robots, on some cameras, and AI, local AI, I think it was said earlier by one of the gentlemen, local AI has to be in concert with edge compute AI, cloud AI. There has to be obviously significant advances in devices if you're talking about consumer experiences, because we know the devices today don't provide the consumer experiences that you need, either augmented reality, connectivity between vehicles, or even immersive virtual reality. So, but the AI that's trained and then can be deployed and inferred on the device often is going to be enabling those local experiences to be automated with a wider area AI training.
Interesting. And then thinking about still devices, Sibel, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think maybe the first question is what is device then, right? So
That's a very good question.
Is it
yes.
like anything that has receiver is a device? Then probably it is, right? And when we think about that, anything that will be connected, anything that can be connected and benefit from connected to be connected, then we are talking about, of course, 5G Advanced to bring huge amount of different type of devices. As we consumers, we only talk about what is device that we will have changed because we get used to smartphones in the last 10, 15 years. Yes, but we believe that it will change. I think the device types that we see, it will move towards that something that will enable us a more immersive experience. I think maybe that will then replace smartphones. I think this definitely we believe it will come. But in the short term, if you just look at the medium term, we will definitely see like wearables, we will see different type of devices in consumers. But again, if you just look into the industries and enterprises, we can think about a screwdriver can be a device. It will be a device. It will be a clever device. So I mean, all of them will be connected because that's the whole key. I mean, and I think 5G Advanced is bringing quite a lot of functionalities to be able to, which is needed to be able to lower the cost and the size to be able to scale. Which means that now we will be seeing a lot of small things that will be connected, both replacing what we've seen from the previous technologies, but even more that will be advanced capabilities in the low cost will be scaled in the industry. So I think definitely, I think that's for me the first thing will happen as a next step is we will see wide range of devices.
It's really interesting because especially we've seen during the presentations that IoT would massively benefit from that. So you're saying anything can become really a device. And in the manufacturing sector, that can be potentially quite interesting as well. And I think Metaverse, wearables.
Yeah, I think all over the world right now are a few hot topics. And then, like I just mentioned, the Metaverse, okay, a lot of different verses. And also AI, and also about talking the smart city projects. This a common discussion point all over the world. And at the back, okay, we not just need a very good 5G network. We need a lot of sensing device, a lot of new type of wearables, in order to not just ensure different these functions can work, but they need to collaborate and work together. Like I just mentioned, okay, in the Metaverse, okay, we have a lot of different kind of sensing device for each individual singles. But we also try to connect to the other one's device at the same time by the 5G. That's one very important functionality that I'm expecting is coming. So you can expect a lot of new devices in order to get to all the network to be trained to make the decision faster. So that's very common.
It'll be interesting to meet here in 5 years' time and see what device is actually going to emerge.
Well,
And I have already multiple devices on me. I have connected ring, connected watch, and it kind of became part of our everyday life that we have so many things that tell us what to do, or how we feel, how well we slept. And we're running out of time, unfortunately. So are the current 5G networks, we've seen, there is a need for improvement in the uplink, downlink, we kind of get in there. So are the current 5G networks ready to handle those new use cases? So low latency, more uplink, or do we need to make some really, really big changes for this to happen? So what would be the next steps for this to become reality? Because we know the vision. I think we're all on board with the vision, but what are the next steps that really need to happen? Maybe 1 minute each, and start with you, Ronnie.
All right, so just quickly, so I think we're trying to augment the current networks today with maybe private 5G and enterprise 5G, so containing the challenge, containing the problem in the environment as much as possible. So yeah, I don't think really the networks are in place today. At NVIDIA, we work with 10,000 startups using AI. A lot of those startups are starting to think about the kind of technology, devices that we're talking about, use of devices that we're talking about. They're very dependent upon network upgrades and network changes for the type of experience we've heard about.
Okay. Yeah, in general, I mean, I can't stress enough how excited and also looking forward for the enhancements in uplink. Again, comes to my mind in very quick 50 seconds. As simple as, a use case as simple as, computer vision for a CNC machine to detect anomalies, for objects. These are existing ones. We tried to do this on 5G, and due to the fact that the machine or the camera looking at the machine is actually very high definition, the 5G network started to choke. So, and this is a real case, we had to actually wire it, literally. We had to wire the camera, which was not fun. I mean, in a factory, you have to wire it. And so again, these are the things we really need as an industry to focus on. What are the needs? Definitely uplink enhancements are needed and needed urgently. So I'll end it here.
And Sibel, from your perspective?
Maybe I will start by challenging that uplink is actually ready. Maybe I can order to say, I mean, one thing is about the technology, but the other thing is about the deployment, right? I mean, in Korea, which is more than 90% population coverage covered by mid-band, their average uplink user throughput is close to 200 megabit per second.
Yes.
This can handle a lot of use cases in terms of capacity, in terms of number of devices, in XR. So I think it's about both, are we ready? And I think when we just look at the 5G deployments today, 80% of the base stations are still missing mid-band. So we cannot deploy 5G with FDD and expect that all of the visions will happen. So maybe that's a bit the truth behind. So we need to be able to invest on the infrastructure to be able to realize our vision. But indeed, we will need to do more enhancements in uplink. On top of it, we need to see if we can further extend the coverage. We need to focus on the capacity improvements with different MIMO schemes and other things. But I actually believe that fundamentals are there even to be able to use these use cases today. But it's not deployed. That's my first thing. But what other things? I mean, as I said, for me, the fundamentals are there. We have deployed in terms of technology with the SA, with the slicing, with good penetration of devices, X75 capable, I mean, the X5G advanced capabilities are coming. It is there, but it will evolve. But I think for me, in my mind, the one technology that will be needed on top is really the consistency. We are still running best effort. For me, the next few years that we will need to work on is how can we have consistent downlink, consistent uplink, consistent latency, and also to be able to manage all these devices and capabilities in the same network with the best case. I think that's, for me, in my mind, what we'll be working on to be able to realize the vision.
But that requires a lot of investment, because South Korea, the number of base stations is probably a few times more than in any other country. So that's definitely. Last but not least.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to summarize it. There's a few major developments we need to have in 5G. First, of course, is uplink, because we have a lot of data need to be transmitted to the network to have like the edge computing or even the centralized calculations. That's very important. Then the second important will be the low latency, ultra reliable low latency network to ensure we can have a good communication. And then the third area, which is the computation power, how to redistribute. Right now, the computation power in the device, in the UPF, in the MEC, that's very important to make it very efficient communication. And last but not least, is how to ensure when we build so many devices, so many equipment, how to keep it in a good, clean, green network.
Yes, we mustn't forget that
The green.
Yes.
energy efficiency and sustainability is now top of mind for everybody.
Yes.
Especially as we're going to have more compute, we have to be very careful about that. So we've heard about where are we right now, what are the use cases, what the future holds. I think very excited about the future. Definitely going to see new amazing use cases appearing, new devices, and definitely it will be good to come back in a couple of years' time and see, do the reality check again,
Yes.
as we did with 5G on 5G Advanced. So thank you very much to my panel. Very much appreciated. Now if I can ask Henry to the stage, should we stay here or should we?
Is it on? Yeah, you can hear me. Hello, everyone. I'm Henry Calvert from the GSMA, and I'm head of networks there. We thought it would be really nice to capture the moment that we've just actually seen from the 5G Advance and the progress that's actually been made. So if I could ask the panelists, and then I'll read out some more participants to come up and line up on the stage so we can take a photograph and we can capture this very good moment of 5G advanced progress. So please, could I also have on stage Bernard Despres, the Vice President, Core Network, Automation, Security, End-to-End Services for Orange, Alan Lowe from Zane, John Gao, President of 5.5G and 5G Advanced Domain from Huawei, Ting Fang Jai, President of Engineering in Wireless R&D, Qualcomm, Gavin Wu, Senior Advisor, Access Engineering and Performance Management from Globe, Tan Cheng Peng, Head of Technology, Strategy and Planning at Maxis, and Mr. Ernest, Head of RAN Engineering, Vodafone Qatar. Could you please, are you all on stage? Everyone here? There you go. A fantastic sight. Well, thank you very much for this session today and attending, and that's the end. Cheers.